Hey kiddos, it's your dad here. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about how you can identify when a 9 to 5 is killing you and some of the things that you can do about it. For me, I ended up leaving the country. So, that's why, we're in Colombia, and maybe by the time that you're seeing this, we're in Japan or wherever else. Um, so, the first thing is identifying how you know that a job is is not right for you and that you're going against something that and that was really difficult for me to really recognize at first, because we're always, society tells us that we have to get a good job, go to school, and do something safe, um, and set yourself up. And you know, with me, I know I've I've been very conditioned to want to protect my family, um, protect my family, protect myself. I have a big fear of failure uh, that I've been trying to work through. Um, the fear of letting myself down, letting other people down, people not accepting me for not being, you know, extraordinary or a great achiever. So there's a lot of conditioning that um, I grew up with, that society uh, pushes on you to be different, to be the main character, to have it all together. And when I was leaving the military, I served 9 years, and uh, at first I joined the military because I wanted to do something that felt right. I joined the military because I wanted to do something that felt right. I didn't want to just get a standard job. So I was listening to my body when I was 18, doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a helicopter rescue swimmer, the guy that was jumping out of the helicopters to save people's lives. That felt right. Um, and then I did that. I ended up dropping out. That's another story. After I was there for about 3-4 weeks and dropped out. I believe it was 3 weeks, and then end of the third week. Um, but but then when I ended up back in Florida, your grandpa, my dad, um, his cancer came back, so I ended up in Florida to be closer to him, and that's when I got started on this path towards business and entrepreneurship, starting to learn about like investing in real estate and um, the whole world of building something of your own. What people nowadays call escaping the matrix, um, to build something so you can leave a 9 to 5. That's another story for another video. But because of the problems with this idea of escaping the matrix, how we're basically just in another matrix by trying to escape the matrix. So, but when I decided to start doing a job, doing IT work, learning how to program. Ended up staying in the Coast Guard for 9 years, because I didn't feel ready to leave. Um, but then, when you're doing something for so long, especially with the military is a really good example of this, because if you serve 20 years, you get a retirement for life. You're paid for the rest of your life, an early retirement. So I would have been 38 years old if I retired from the military, and I'd be receiving a paycheck for the rest of my life. Um, and there's a lot of comfort in that. A lot of people, I had a guy that I worked with. I had a guy that I worked with, and he he hated his jobs. He never liked what he was doing. He was always complaining. Um, he, he was at like 14 years at the time, and he was trying to get to 20. And he basically said the only reason why I'm still doing this is so I can get the retirement, and then when I retire, I'm just gonna go be a Walmart greeter. He's just like, he hates his job, doesn't like his bosses, doesn't like the military. Uh, he, every day was kind of like Groundhog Day for him. Didn't like being told where to go, what to do, all the things that come with being in the military, and or most jobs, for that matter. And but that really stuck out with me when he said, I hate what I'm doing. I and when all of this is done, I'm just going to go be a Walmart greeter for retirement. That really hit me, because when I got started into entrepreneurship, I got excited about the idea of I can build my own business and I can do my own things. I can have control over my time and my finances. But when I was doing this work at my job in the Coast Guard, I was also starting to feel like, man, this something's not feeling right. I was feeling like I was starting to feel like I was trapped. I wasn't enjoying the things that I was doing because I knew that my interests weren't there. Initially, I joined because I had an interest there. It felt right to my body. It felt right to my soul. But as I started taking on new things, starting new things in life, new side hustles, new businesses, new possibilities, the thing that I was doing didn't feel right anymore. So that's one of the first things is that people grow and change. I had a friend tell me that, how does a photographer create their own unique style? And he said that they don't just wake up one day and say, I've got this unique style. They develop their style by trying a bunch of different things, doing what interests them and what feels right. They don't do something because it's like that they don't want to do. They do the thing that they want to do, they get interested in it, and then they change, because that's what people do, that's what artists do. And then at the end, or not at the end, but as part of that journey, you create your own unique style. You have your own perception, your own way of how you look at life. And that's going to be different than when you started that journey. And that's okay. That's a part of the process. But the problem when a job is killing you and you're doing something that doesn't feel right is when you keep doing the thing thinking that I have to do this thing. I keep taking portrait photography even though I hate doing portrait photography. I keep doing this accounting job because it's safe, but I hate doing accounting and the job is monotonous. If you love doing it and you want to keep doing that and you want to become a portrait photographer or an accountant and you enjoy doing that for the rest of your life, that's no problem. That's fine. That's great. But if you don't listen to what your body, what your soul is telling you, and you keep doing something that doesn't feel right, that's when a thing is killing you. And I noticed when I was serving at my last unit in the Coast Guard that the thing that I was doing was killing me. It was supporting me and it was allowing me the opportunity to be able to pursue my interests and my goals. But the thing that I was doing, my 9 to 5, it felt like it was killing me. And I had a lot of fear when I left the military about pursuing business. I didn't know if I had enough to be able to retire early. So I was really I was putting out job offers and applying for different jobs because I had a top secret clearance and they were offering me a 6-figure salary in the DC area and also in Florida. And I I was talking to your mom, and I was saying that it just something, like, it feels like my body is rejecting the idea. Like, I know the in my mind it's like, this is safe, this is good. You can make more money, you'll have more money, this will be good. You'll keep your top secret clearance, you'll progress, and that's part of that, that system or that matrix that everybody talks about. But in my I felt like that was my my brain was telling me this is safe, do this, but my heart, my soul was telling me, if you do this thing, you're going to be killing yourself, and it's going to hurt, it's going to be painful. And I tried to justify it. I tried to say, well, I'm only going to do it for a short time, I'm only going to take this job for this period, I'm only going to do this until this point. But I also said that when I was in the military, I'm only going to do it until this point. My coworker said, I'm only going to do it until 20 years. I'm only going to do this, I'm only going to do that. I was at 9 years. I was telling myself and saying, I'm only going to stay until, I've only got 11 years left. And then I can have that security. But what's the sacrifice? 11 years. We wouldn't have come to Columbia. Maybe we wouldn't have had you guys. Maybe I wouldn't have started pursuing these interests because I needed to get this other side hustle to make money so I could leave, so I could have something when I left my job. Or I just kept working that job and I just didn't feel fulfilled. I had less time to be able to spend with you. These are all things. So what made sense to me was leaving my job, leaving the military, leaving that security, leaving my top secret clearance, leaving my IT cybersecurity background, leaving all of that, and moving out of the country to do what felt right to me. And then from there we ended up having you. It was it was not planned. It was not planned, but we're that is part of what we needed to do. So don't make the mistake that my coworker made, or that most of the world makes, which is doing something that doesn't feel right to you. Even if I tell you, like, I'm probably you're your whole lives, I'm gonna be saying, recommending and talking about the military, because the military does have a lot of benefits, and I've talked about that before. But if you don't, it's okay. You have to do what feels right to you. It felt right to me at that time. If you told me now, Julian, you should join the military, I'd probably be like, no, probably not. But if it felt right at that time to do that, then maybe I would, and I would do my 4 years, do whatever time, maybe do 20 if that's what felt right. But if you're doing something because that's what you believe that you need to do, and you're not doing it because you want to, then you're killing yourself, and you're wasting this life, this one life that you have. And if you wake up tomorrow and get hit by a bus, I mean, you won't really be able to remember that, but I like to use the getting hit by a bus analogy, because can you say that you were living life the way that you wanted? Could you be happy with that? Is that truly living life if you're not living life by your own design, but living it by someone else's. You know, it's the greatest lie that you, the greatest lie is the lie to yourself. If you lie to yourself and you convince yourself, I need to do this thing, even though it doesn't feel right, and then you listen to other people that tell you this is what you need to do because this is what's right. If you don't ask yourself why you're thinking that way and why you believe these things, then you could be lying to yourself and not living life on your own terms. And sometimes, you know, life teaches, we just have to experience this and learn that I don't like the feeling of lying to myself. I don't like the feeling of doing something that feels like I'm killing myself. I don't like the feeling of going against what my body's telling me to do. You don't really know until you experience it. So maybe part of your journey is to experience that. But once you know, once you're aware, are you okay living in that place, and for how long? You know, if God forbid something happens and I was in a place where I needed to get a job, if it felt like I needed to get this job, this is what feels right, this is what I want to do, then I would do it. But if I did it just out of fear, just because, if I did it out of excess, if I did it even though I was okay, but I just didn't want to, but I just did it anyways, you know, I wouldn't be okay with that. But if I needed to and that's what felt right at that time, then I would do it. But I would hope that I would stop when it did not feel right anymore. And I hope that I wouldn't be doing it not because I'm lying to myself. And I hope that I would not continue doing it by lying to myself. So I hope that you don't lie to yourself either.